It is day 50.
One.
Because the hat's there. We got my buddy Cruz up here. We're gonna get him on here in a little bit. It is day 51. We're at 3-night camping limit in the day shelter, 3-night camping limit. We're gonna dedicate day 51 to Six Moons Design, their rain walker, because we were rain walking today on the Virginia Ridge for about a mile or 2 miles. We just have to dedicate that to this umbrella. They did a good job today. So day 51 dedicated to Six Moons and their rain walker SUL umbrella. Boom, day 51, April 7. We didn't get out of our tent yet.
It's 8:15.
Yeah, normally
that's late for us.
It's very late. It's gonna rain and thunderstorm all day. We're on our way to Daleville. We don't know. There's a hostel in between. I think this is a 60-70 mile section. We brought enough food for it. I think maybe that's why yesterday was so rough. But we're gonna have to decide what to do because it's raining and it's cold. And you know, we had a few mornings of cold rain before, and we can handle it. But sometimes when you wake up, it's just rough to do it. It's just rough to want to get out.
There's no stopping of the rain.
No.
It's supposed to just get progressively worse as the day goes on.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's not much motivation.
No, you just kind of want to sit here, but then you look at your MPH. But I can tell you what, you have to look to Happiest Known Time. You know, no pain, no gain. We forgot to talk about that. The flip side of Happiest Known Time sometimes is, sometimes you just got to grit it out, and a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So back on that Mary Poppins note, day 51, April 7. Let's see what the day has in store for Rental and Unicorn. Have no fear. Peace. One of my protocols, even in situations like this when it's cold and you're trying to get out, make sure to always wipe your socks. Make sure you wipe your socks, get everything cleaned out. All right, we are back out here, finally getting a move on. A little correction from where we last left our last resupplies are on 93 miles to Daleville. I said 70, 80. Unicorn's like, it's not 6. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like 93. So it's a lot of food that we carried out to prepare. I carried some bulk items and trusting a little bit more that we can put down 20s if we want. And I don't know. The plan is there is no plan. I don't know if we're stopping at that hostel. I don't know if we're just gonna go right to Daleville and utilize our food carry and not just show up with a bunch of food again and be like, why do we do that? But whew. Good question by Andy the other day. I responded, you know, it's a great thing, and sometimes, you know, it could be a thing where it can kind of disconnect you, I think, sometimes at points. If you've got your flow on, especially if you're crushing like 30s, you're not even going to be able to make some of the stops that we made. And that's cool for the crusher, but also sad in a way. I think some of these hostels and the people that I meet there, not just the owners, the workers, and you know, the citizens, the locals that hang out there, that bring all this rich history to the AT. You just have even if you can just spare 2 minutes, you'd learn so much, and you can just feel the vibe, the energy, and it just gives you extra energy to get back on trail. So to me, it's like an awesome pit stop, you know? And I view it differently. Absolutely, you know? You never know it until you do it. So we're doing it right now. Very blessed to be out here, living the dream, feeling those raindrops on our cheeks. Unicorn, rocking the shorts. That's right, people. You know, that's right. She's rocking the shorts because it's wet and cold. Wants to ensure that there's dry pants tonight. And there's no sun. We weren't shorts people on the PCT. One is I was really concerned about the sunburn on my legs, and for whatever reason I got very comfortable with them on, and it was pandemic year, so there wasn't much trail maintenance at a lot of stuff. So props off to the people that wore shorts that year. I just kept getting scratched. I got scratch all over. You'll see my leg here. It's still healing from the cold blistering wind going up and down those balds and Clyde Smith Shelter and all those places where I was able to just get away with just delayering the top layer, which is now I know my threshold. You know, minus 10 degree wind chill, maybe below that I got it. But I'm able to delayer up at the top and just use mittens and my winter cap in order to really maintain a great non-sweating hiking temperature. And I was able to do that with wearing shorts. So for me, since the trail is well maintained, you know, you're not bushwhacking, I find it very short friendly. And maybe if my year was different on the PCT, I would have worn them, but I don't know. Let's see how we do here. I just lack of pockets. I had to move things around, but it's doing good. Continue to hike. Rain slowing down. Let's see what we can crush today, people. Let's see what the rest of the day has in store for Rental and Unicorn. Over and out. Okay, so as you can see, Unicorn has the umbrella tucked where?
Under the chest strap, and then under the rain jacket, and then I have my shirt over the fupa.
That's a Six Moons design. I have the same one right there, and it's 5 ounces.
It's really light.
I'm able to do it. I'll show you right here. If I can just flip the camera over here in the rain. I have the same setup right here. I'm able to use both trekking poles then. I've got mine strapped here. Look, it's even snug right next to the ZV-1 in the plastic bag. I'm able to use 2 trekking poles and still manipulate. Let's see how it goes if I go hands-free. This is what the trail looks like. Might have some trouble if it's kind of like the green bubble with the umbrella. Let's see how it does. I already put it through thorn bushes, the stickies. I just ran it through and there's no holes. I accidentally just was walking with it and just... So let's see how it holds up. I guess today is gonna be the rainwalker test. But Unicorn started that hack underneath the chest strap. Let's see how it goes. Catch everyone on the flip. Sorry if the screen is blurred, but it is raining. Again, let's see how this works with the umbrella hack. It's windy. Wow. Working out. You know, it's keeping both of my hands free, and you can kind of wiggle it around underneath the chest strap as it rains because it's so light. And I don't think it's compromising the chest strap at all. Unicorn is just, oh, look at that view to the left. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Trucking up here. Headed continuous northbound White Blaze, baby. White Blaze. Shout out to Craig Main's Hawk, baby. White Blaze. Let's go. This is what it's about. This is the flip side. You know, 2018, it was couch, and we both fell out of shape. Went to Mount Albert in Colorado, did that 14er, fell apart on the way up and the way down, and rekindled our relationship with Mother Nature after that, our love for the woods. And then fast forward, that's where we're at right now. So one thing for sure is You stay in shape out here. All right, let's continue to crush. It looks like the rain's not going to stop today, and we will catch up on the other side. We just crushed that little hill. There's a lot of spots where this could be particularly sketchy because the wood's wet. So it is a lot slipperier than regular times of non-rain. Let's see. Even if I fall, the camera will make it seem like I didn't even fall. All right, let's see. Okay. I'll bend down so you can see it like that. You can probably saw the tip of the umbrella. I'm walking like I'm a frog, man. Unicorn showing pro steps. What a beautiful view. Look at that, and that car coming up in that backcountry road. I'll put music over that. It's a nice sight there with a little bit of rain coming down. It is a beautiful day. Day 51, April 7. We're walking in the rain, singing in the rain with the rain walker, SUL, from 6 Moons. Unicorn is doing a good job back there, staying focused, looking down. All right, we're gonna continue northbound. Let's see if the rain lets up. As long as the thunderstorms and lightning stay away, I think we're in good shape. Catch you on the flip. Hopefully this is not a situation.
It looks like a cow.
Okay. Okay. That's White Blaze up there too, right? Where's White Blaze?
I think straight.
All right.
Let's watch where you step. It looks like a cow patty right there.
Yeah, it does.
Right through there.
Wow, it broke through the fence. Well, that sucks. It's protected his calf, right? Wow, because we heard it. It was like right there on trail. And it came out. I think it dropped a big poop in the middle of the trail. But here we are. Again. And there it is. We have to go through, right?
Yeah. It's a baby cow.
Okay, so let me take the umbrella out. Right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna do this like this. And you will see us literally squeeze through this fence. And all right, just wanted to make sure it was still recording. All right, that's White Blaze. Yep, white blaze right there. Unicorn. I don't think it wants any Pepto-Bismol today. That cow's like, don't want the Pepto-Bismol. No, thank you. Wow, so it's pretty cold out right now, and the conditions are 43 degrees, cold, trails cow poopy, you know. But we're gonna continue to press on here. I gotta conserve a little bit of this battery for now. You know how that those cold conditions can mess with things. So updating you here, walking past the cows. And sometimes, Unicorn, what do you think?
It's beautiful.
It is very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Just let me get this right. Take my hood down. The rain slowed down a little. Now I'm kind of burning up. It's weird. A mixture of having your fingers frozen to, I don't know, a minute later feeling like sometimes it's just too hot. I don't know, tough to explain. Here it is, the beauty of the trail. Really having a good time with the Roanoke Club here and their maintenance of the trail and the way they do things. It's been beautiful and a beautiful hike. Unicorn was talking about the steps, how the steps were done great. I've been enjoying it a lot. Yesterday's, for whatever reason, was extremely challenging with the ups. That just seemed like they went forever, and I like that. And today, light rain right now. We'll have to see if the heavy rain comes back, and continue to press. So let's just see how many miles we can put down. Catch you on the flip. Yeah, this is, I'm taking down my hood. It is 39 degrees out. Be careful. The rocks are slippery. It's raining. As you can see, there's a white blaze. I'm not getting many views today. I don't want to slide. And as you can see, I don't want to slide against that for my knees, for the health of my knees. Wow, slippery there. And you can take the low route and then climb right up. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to take the low route right here, follow this dirt, and then go up this sludgy side, which is very sludgy sludge. Yeah, I mean, I put a dent in there right there. It's cold though. Oop, slide there, slide there. I'm sure these would have been great views. I'm sure they would have been great. Whew. Still smells like pine. Look at that beautiful tree. Boy, am I glad I have the camera out for that. Look at that. Looks like it's all bonsai'd up. All right, we got past that one. We've been doing a lot of this, Unicorn, for the past how long?
Probably a couple miles.
Okay.
At least 2 miles.
Okay, so, yeah, camera's beeping saying low temperature, that it's not gonna show me what I'm shooting. It's just gonna save me energy with the black screen. As you can see, the white blaze is right there. But the stuff is tricky because it's slippery, the wet rock, and it's just kind of treacherous. You know what I mean?
You don't want to fall.
You don't want to fall. It's ripping the crap out of your shoes, but it's kind of like tough for a while here on this ridge. It's a challenge. As you can see, you just want to make sure you're actually white blazing, but it's pretty blazed. Whew. Did we finally get to the end of this?
No, I see more up there.
Do you see more up there?
There's more up there.
I'm like celebrating this. Let's see here as we cross this pathway. Whew. Wow. I'm choked up on my trekking poles like that. Some of these climbs are pretty high. Okay, we see an opening up there. Today's a lot of POV because of the makeup and the conditions. We have to continue to crush. Well, that's a small little dip right there, wouldn't you say? You can see. Whew. All right, we're going to continue to press. I mean, yeah, this is certainly not something where I can do 3.5 miles an hour when you've got rock like that and there. Whew. Alrighty, we will continue this descent from this ridge, as I almost slipped right there, and we will catch everyone on the flip and see how many miles we can crush in these conditions. Wipe it off. Wow, we're back to this. 83 degrees yesterday, and we're back to cold. Cold fingers, cold face. Still happiest known time. Catch everyone on the flip. Boom, it is day 51. I don't know if I can get the days right. Kind of a rough day. You know, this stretch of Virginia's given me a challenge yesterday with the tooth falling out, like the crown, and unicorn today on the ridge. We can talk about that on the outro, but let's talk right here. I got a friend of mine back here that follows the channel. He follows a lot of YouTubers. And what would your fine name be?
My name's Cruz.
Cruz, that's awesome. We know a little bit about Cruz. So Cruz, if you're watching the channel, shout out, but this is the Cruz of the AT. Cruz, you gave me some interesting background story here. You said you were a strengthening coach?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't ask him anything that has to do with that because that's his forte. So Cruz, here you are, cornered up in the shelter. It looks like you might push some big miles. I think you're a big mile pusher. What could you do better at that you're not quite there yet? What could you improve on? I think that's a tough question to ask you since you're a strengthening coach. I got to think of something creative.
It has to be nutrition. I was more worried about miles. I was pushing the high miles. Still am, but right off the bat, I wasn't eating as I should have.
Right.
So now I take breaks. I take lunch breaks.
Yep.
And dinner breaks, and I always make sure I eat a big breakfast before I start. I was just eating breakfast and going all day.
Yep.
And not even eating dinner. I miss lunch and dinners at days.
That's awesome. So that's good advice. Got to get that nutrition down. That's popping up a few times. It's a big deal. I wasn't getting my nutrition down on the PCT. Cruz, thank you so very much for... I don't think this might be the last time we see you because it seems like you're crushing right now. Ahead with Camel and Scapegoat. But you're living happiest known time. We just gave you a sticker. Say hello to friends and family back home.
Hey guys.
All right.
I know you'll see the video soon.
Right, in 24 hours or 48-hour delay. A little problem with the internet back here. But Cruz, thank you very much. I think this is the last time we'll see him. You're going to say hello. We're going to give you the stickers. I say hello to the friends and families up there. Happiest known time. We're a little cold. Boom. Day 51. The cap's really wet.
Everything's wet.
Everything is really wet. How many miles?
We did almost 13 today, but it was a hard day.
It was a really hard day.
It was a really hard
I just
day.
wanted to get the mileage out of the way so that we can talk about the last 2 days. So the loss of the tooth and, I don't know,
Today was rough.
Yeah.
It's only like almost 13 miles. We did that whole ridge line in really cold, 39 and 40 degrees, back and forth in the wind.
It was just misty, rainy.
It was cold,
raining.
and our hands were cold, and
Hands were very
shorts. Unicorn had shorts on, the shorts got wet.
That was my first time wearing shorts on all through hikes. I did not wear shorts a single day on the PCT.
I'm gonna have to say, like,
I just didn't want wet pants all day.
Clyde Smith Shelter with Bad Bat and
Woodchuck.
Woodchuck.
That was cold.
Second day on trail, which is the first day on the Appalachian Trail, Springer Mountain. And I'm gonna have to say today were the 3 coldest days. I wouldn't even take Roan Mountain, even though that was cold. I feel like Roan, I feel like the top of the Balls, where it was -10 wind chill, where I got frostbite on my leg. There was something about today and the precipitation and the wind.
I think because it was cold and wet.
Oh, it was just
wet.
it was one of those gritting days where I felt like the Virginia Ridgeline, the ridgeline we're on here, we're probably about 16, 17 miles away from that one hostel that's out beyond. And just if you know this local trail, if you're doing it, the ridge is there. It seemed to go for about 2 miles, like a mile.
Every time we thought we were done, you would walk like a little bit on some nice grade, and then it would go right back to like, they were like rock cliffs. They were steep and slanted.
Yes.
And then it was wet and rainy and cold, so that was difficult.
Yes.
That really slowed us down.
But
and we had a late start.
But do you know what worked? Those umbrellas worked.
The umbrellas. As soon as you put the umbrella up, you get warm. Well, kind of warm.
Yeah, we had umbrellas before. We took the Gossamer Gear one on the PCT. It was good to reflect, those silver ones. We went and splurged on some 6 Moons ones that were SUL, super ultra light. And I will have to say that I stepped on it last from Angels, at Angels. It was on the side of my sleeping pad. And for whatever reason, I didn't want to step on my sleeping pad, so I stepped over it, and my umbrella was on the other side, and I stepped on the plastic parts that opened, didn't break. Today, I turned around with it in the rain, and I had it on the side, and it went right through a thorn bush, like through a big sticky thorn bush, and it didn't rip. And today I was just abusive with it. I was abusive with it because it was cold.
Mine
and
hit some trees a bunch of times.
It didn't rip. So I'm going to do a full-blown review on it eventually, but right now, creeping up on 700 miles here. You know, in the future, build quality, weight, packability, and function. So far, that thing is so light. You know, I thought that maybe the build quality would compromise, but so far it's been holding up. So we dedicated that kind of episode in the very, very cold rain on these Virginia ridges. Whew. Virginia, I feel like, is a little bit torrential. I don't know, what about you, Unicorn? Oh, Unicorn, you were walking in it profusely with your rain jacket on, and then what happened?
Well, see, during one of those sections up on the ridge where it got kind of nice and smooth, I was like, all right, let's pick up the MPH a little bit because we get slowed down so much on the steep part. Well, I was watching where I was stepping, but there was a down tree in the middle of the trail right about at Unicorn face level, and my nose is still sore.
Boom.
I hit it really hard.
And I was right behind you. As soon as I
blown.
looked up to warn you, because, you know, I wasn't too far of a tail behind. I was a little bit too close.
I didn't see it.
I went, and it was like literally, here was the log, and here comes Unicorn. It was like, doosh.
There was no branches that were hanging down from it. It was like perfect, just one tree.
It's devastating.
Trunk.
It's amazing how fast
Right on my
trees can grow
face.
sideways on the trail.
Tree trunk on my
It just grew so fast before your eyes, and you said, "Oh, I didn't see it grow."
It hurt.
Yeah, it was something though.
It was hard.
It was tricky. Wide trail, yet there was a dead tree out of nowhere, just floating.
I was focusing on my steps.
Yes, you were. Stare down. That's one of our big hashtags, is stare down, look down. Okay, so we're wet, we're cold. I didn't think I'd have to put these back on yet. I was going to send home my wool top last time. I'm actually really glad I didn't send home my wool top. I didn't think we'd have another really cold day like this. And tomorrow's supposed to be like 70 or 60.
With sun, with lots of sun.
But I'm like really cold right now, so
It's really cold.
on that note, I'm going to be really cold right now. Hey, don't ever think that it's not happiest known time. It wouldn't be happiest known time without some coldness and some rain. That's why we have good water here on the AT, and that's why those flowers bloom. So we're still being positive. Thank you for all the positive comments and all the vibes. And geez, we just met Cruz.
Oh, Cruz is so cool. He's such a nice guy.
We walked up on the shelter and he's like, "Hey, you're the only one that didn't meet on YouTube yet." And I just stopped all wet and cold.
He's crushing. He started like, what was it, beginning of March?
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to his family. I want to give a shout out to the fam watching, the kids, the fam watching.
Thank you for supporting him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, mommy, everybody. Just because they say they watch us upstate, that's what they watch us all the time, and a few other YouTubers will. But hello, how you doing all there? It is a PG channel, certainly this year on the AT. Gotta watch it on some of those PCT videos, but on the AT it's been relatively PG. I told that to Pink Hot Dog, and he kept it PG. Right? He's like, "Did I keep it PG enough?" I'm like, "You kept it PG." Yeah. Pink Hot Dog, that's right. Shout out to Pink Hot Dog. So anyway, I just think that it's been fun, and it's fun to meet people when they watch you before they get on trail and they see you, and it's like, that's cool. But yeah, I have to.
Cool to meet him.
We have to get ready to edit, and maybe get ready to get warm. It's. I'm telling you right now, I'm being really honest. This is rough. It's been a rough 2 days. So I'm looking.
April 7th, cold day.
April 7th. April 7th was the day we launched for the PCT in 21. So shout out to April 7 people on PCT 21 if you're watching. But I won't forget April 7 in many different ways. Our first day on the PCT and a really devastatingly cold day on the ridge. Anyway, I'm going to go edit and take a look at some of that POV. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Hopefully I can edit it the right way and get some of that stuff cut with all that rain falling down right here on my chest. But I'm going to get dry. Thank you very much for the patience watching this long outro. But we just want to explain to you that it's really cold and the camera's kind of foggy too.